Good afternoon, good evening, good very early morning for many of you that's listening. I'm going to just give you a roll call. We've got people that's on this webinar from Italy, Hungary, Russia, Germany, United States of America, Canada, Israel, obviously the United Kingdom, but we've got about half a dozen people in Australia. Guys, you need to understand it's about 6 o'clock in the morning in Australia. So welcome to all you folks. Carol, Elizabeth, Jane, Sally, good morning, good very early morning. Now, we have a very, very special webinar training this evening. And at the end of this webinar, do not cut off early because I want to give you some ideas and some suggestions. But without any further ado, I want to hand this straight over to our presenter this evening, who's a very, very good friend of mine that I've known now for the last 2.5 years and worked with this gentleman every single day. He's one of our leading globals in the United Kingdom. Alan Platt, over to you. Alan, take it away.
Hey Simon, thanks very much for that. Yes everyone, today we're going to be talking about lead generation because lead generation is so important for our business, but a lot of people I think overcomplicate it because generating leads, if you know the different ways you can do it, it's actually really simple. And effectively all we do is we identify prospects or people that we can work with and generate business together. It really is simple as asking people, talking to people. Let's just show them the amazing thing we have with the Shopping Sherlock. This is a special business. The timing right now is absolutely phenomenal for people. So the more people we can expose this to, the better for everybody. So it really is lead generation in its simplistic terms is identifying people that you can introduce the business to. Now, I always say the first people you should always talk to are your friends. Go to your friends and your family. We call that the warm market. Now, people know a lot of people, and sometimes people say, well, I don't know a lot, but when you really dig deep into it, a lot of people know a load of people. And the thing is, once you introduce one more person to your business, you open up their whole database. Now, when I say warm market, it could be your closest friends, your closest family members, parents, children. It depends on the age that you're at there, your work colleagues, but there's a lot of other people that you really got to think about making connections with as well. And what we do there is we use what's called a memory jogger list. So you can talk about things like, who did you go to school with? Who lives on the left-hand side of you? Who lives behind you? Who fixes your car? There's so many different ways you can create names. Who do you know called Dave? Who do you know called Angela? And a lot of people these days have so many connections on their mobile phones. So I reckon what people should do is write the biggest list. We say try and get a list of about 250 people when you first start. And if someone says, I'm finding that hard, well, let's work together until we can do that. And use those memory joggers. Where do you shop? Where do you get your dry cleaning done? Which shows do you go and see? Who have you met when you've been there? The warm market for me is anybody, if I pick up the phone and say, hey, it's Alan, how you doing? We've not connected maybe for even a couple of years. I just thought I'd give you a call, see what you're up to these days. Now, the great thing there is if they know even slightly what my name is when they answer that phone, that to me is warm market. Now, obviously, your closest friends and family, I think, are the ones you should go to first because we've got something really special. Wouldn't you want them to be at the start of your business rather than at the end? Because all we really do is we give people the option for them to make their own mind up. We just provide the information. They decide whether they want to say yes and come on board with us. They decide whether they want to say no and it's not for them. And we respect their views because that's their belief, that's their decision. So if you're not emotionally attached to it, you can go to anybody if you're not emotionally attached to the outcome. So friends and family are key because you care about them the most, the closest people to you, and especially if someone's new to networking, they're the ones who care about you and will be more sympathetic, as you're learning your skill sets as well. Now, when we're contacting these people on our initial list, like I say, is our warm market, always ask for a referral if someone says, hey, it's not for me. Don't worry if they say no, you move on to the next person. It really is a numbers game in this business. But the great thing is you can turn referrals into team members. I'll give you an example. When I did my first list, I contacted a gentleman I know, known him for about 5 years. Shown it, he actually saw the presentation and said, Alan, you know what, it looks good, but it's not for me. The time's not right in my life right now. So I said, no, I appreciate that. Thanks for the time you spent looking at this, but you've just seen the way I put it to you. There's no pressure. I just gave you the information. You know, we're looking for people who are looking. Do you know of any people who might fit this, you know, who might be interested in looking at what I've got? And he said, well, yeah, I know a couple. So I said, well, if you could give me just their email addresses, just give me 2 email addresses, and I'll just send them a real nice email, which I'll copy you into as well, so you can see what I've sent them, and I'll just see if they're open to checking out what I've got. And he said, yeah, I've got no problem with that. So I didn't even ask for phone numbers. All I did is got a little email, and I just sent it off to him and said, hey, my name's Alan, we've got a friend in common, and he thinks something I'm working on would be a great fit for you right now. So, you know, if you're open to finding out what it is, just email me back with your phone number and I'll give you a call. So if you got that email, wouldn't you be curious? And obviously they both emailed me back with their phone numbers. I gave them both a call, and bear in mind, I don't know these people. So they were kind of, in a way, getting a cold call, but I used the referral, the common friend in contact, to really get a little bit of credibility with them. So I took them through the 3-step simple system that we have, and both of them joined. So from asking for a referral from that person who said no, I got 2 level 1 join-ups who then started building a team. Now the great thing is, I then rang that contact I had and said, hey, thanks for those 2 referrals. They both joined. I said, the crazy thing is, if you'd have joined, they'd have been in your team, you'd have been earning money from the fast starts because they both joined, you'd have earned $100, and then obviously you could have built on from there. And he said to me, you know what, Alan, you're right, aren't you? I said, absolutely I'm right. I said, you should have joined. He said, well, I'll tell you what, join me now. So what I did is I joined him, but if you think about it, that no, I ended up with 3 level 1 team members. And then he went power as well. So, you know, real quick, so we were literally in a few short weeks, that no turned into 15, 16 team members in that quick time, and obviously built on from there as well. But the principle was, if you think about it, they joined before him, he was in their team. Effectively the way our binary works. So referrals, always ask for a referral. You know, again, if someone says no, you can ask for a referral for the app, where you can give the app out, where they can market and network it for you as well. So referrals are key with your warm market, especially because they trust you and they'll happily give that referral to you. Now, the other thing I like about the Sherlock, which is where we are completely different to any other company in our business model, we can go to any business. For me, any business is a potential prospect because of the Sherlock, where you can go and pick. Maybe a week you want to pick to speak to estate agents, another week it could be hairdressers, and another week it could be anything, where you can go to them and say, if I can show you a way how I can get your company, the website if you have one, the logo on the front page of all the search engines, regardless of the search, for just over $1 a day, would you be interested in finding out? Now, this is a great way we can get into any business, because the Sherlock, that branding is phenomenal. And let's not forget, they can be generating income as they're giving away this amazing application to their clients. They're giving the people they know an amazing benefit by having this application. So businesses, you can pick any business any day of the week and you can give them a call. And if you know people in your warm market who've got their own business, this is a perfect way to introduce it to them as well. With the opportunity they're going to get, they get to market and brand on all the search engines. That is so, so powerful. Another way is flyers. Obviously, if you can get some flyers done, you can put flyers out and leave them when you go to maybe restaurants or fast food places or in garages. You can put flyers out there as well with your contact details and your websites on. I'm just showing you lots of different ways. Either you can call someone or you can get someone to call you initially. And obviously a flyer, they can get to see your website, they can email you, obviously you can choose the information that you want them to see. Also, newspaper adverts. People can put adverts in newspapers. You know, are you looking for an additional income? There's lots of different ways you can do it. You can put the shopping Sherlock on there. You can get the app out. But the principle is, it's another way you can get leads. Now, obviously, newspaper ads, they actually cost you some cash. So you've got to put cash in there to do it. There's lots of free ways that you don't have to spend a penny. And those are the ones that I always recommend that people take when they first start without having to pay for newspaper adverts. But there is a way that you can definitely get leads for your business. Also, cold calling, some people don't like it. I don't mind it, because how I look at this, every single person who isn't in my business I speak to isn't in my business. So my business does not shrink if they say no. So I've only got an upside. They say no, my business is the same side because they're not in it already. But I have an opportunity when I speak to anybody. There's a chance that they might see, wow, something special with like what I see with a shopping show, and come on board. So you can cold call businesses. You can cold call individuals if you wish. So these are people that they don't know you, but you know what? They might like to see what you have. And all we're doing is we're trying to find people who are open to looking at the information. Now, another great way to get leads, especially because of the way the internet's exploded, and obviously we're in the internet space as well, is having your websites. Get the links of your websites out there, put them on forums, get them on internet, put it on the social media, whether you have a blog. There's lots of different ways you can get people to see your website. Especially with a shopping Sherlock, we have that amazing networking system by our marketing site that you get that as well. Don't forget, you've got the two main sites with other systems for blogging coming up real soon. Think about this. You can just spend maybe half an hour a day putting your links around the internet. You will get app installations. No, you've got an opportunity as well of getting team members. I mean, I put my link out there all over the place. I joined a gentleman in my business last week who's from Dubai. I've never met him, never spoke to him. He came across my link on the internet. He joined. I woke up in the morning, turned on the computer, I'd earned an income whilst I was asleep. But you know all it took me to do? Just post on a few of my links around the internet. So internet is a great way to get leads. Now, a lot of people really know how to use social media and extend their websites and get them up with Google. Sometimes people use pay-per-view, pay-per-click. Now, that's great. But again, I say keep the cash flow in your pocket at the start. Use the free posting on the major sites like your Facebooks, your tweets, your LinkedIns, lots of different ways that you can get those leads into you as well. Now, also email people who are in businesses or just people that you've got contacts for. Think about your internet connections you've got around the world. You might not have a phone number for everybody, but the great thing is if you've got an email, you can really send them an email. If you've got an email address, you can send them an email, which can lead into a connection. So if you've got a phone number for someone, 100% of the time, ring them. Don't try and build a business by pressing send. Contact them, because in an email, which is great to use in the right circumstances, they can't read the tonality. But when you're on the phone and you're giving them a call and they realize how special this is because they can hear it in the tone of your voice, that's a great place to be. But when you haven't got that, if you've got some emails of people that you might have connected with over many years, create a nice template and email them. Again, show them what you've got, connect them through the destination diamond, get them to see the various steps on there, and then try and get a connection with a phone call or a Skype call as well. Skype's also great for this. I'll give you an example how I did that with businesses. I went on the internet and I noticed some businesses, and I created a little template and I emailed the business. It was a real nice soft approach. I said, hey, I've just seen you have an online business. I have an online business that would help yours. Now, if you're open to find out a bit of information about it, feel free to email me back. And if not, thanks for the time, for checking out this email. So it's a very, very soft approach. Somebody contacted me back and said, yeah, what is it? I said, well, do you have Skype? Where are you based? Turns out this person was in a different country from me. They did have Skype. I said, well, let's chat and I'll talk you through it. So they sent me their Skype address. We registered the Skype connections, and I arranged to speak to them at a certain time, and I gave them a call. But bear in mind, I knew their business. So what I did is I rebranded my application with their logo and their website address within there. So I got chatting, and she said, well, how can you get me on the front page of Google? I'll show you. I want you to go to this website, simply click on get the free application, and guess what? She installed the app within a couple of seconds. I said, okay, I want you to go to Google. Went to Google, and guess what she saw on the front page? Her logo. I said, click that, and it went straight to her website. She said, how much is it? She hadn't even seen the presentation. So this is powerful what we've got. So you can create an email, something simple like that, to target businesses. Obviously, they decide whether they buy. The great thing is she joined the business, and then she went power within 12 days, and in fact, one of those days, she personally sponsored 10 people in one day. So this shows you how that can grow simply by sending emails. So don't discount some things, try all the things. Now also you can buy leads. There's lead generation companies out there where you can purchase leads, and then you get the information, maybe an email address or a phone number, and you can give them a call. These are generally where people have registered on the internet or on a paper ad recommending information or requested information about home-based businesses. So it's quite a generic ad generally that they reply to, and then those leads are then sold on to companies, and individuals like ourselves. So the great thing is you can do that, and I know there's people, in the Sherlock who've had great success, where they've introduced maybe just one person and it's gone international, all started a whole team literally from buying a lead. So there's lots of other ways you can do it. Again, you can do that, but I'd always warm market first before you spend any more money. Again, direct mail is, again, you can buy a list and that they mail somebody and get information for them to call you back. So you can give them the websites, you can give you your contact details, and they call you from that sort of system. But again, there's a cash expense there to do that, like there is with co-op ads, where maybe a few people in a team can get together and then they can create one ad and share the leads that are generated from there. Also, there's posters and ad cards. You can get posters designed or ad cards designed where you can put them up in your post offices, your local shops, in the shop windows. Are you interested in generating additional income? Are you interested in saving money on things you buy? There's lots of different ways you can do that. And it's not going to cost a lot of money. That it's literally walking down the street once you've got your posters photocopied and putting them up in the shops. So again, that is another good way that you can generate leads. I personally like talking to people, so meeting new people is one of the best ways. So if you don't get out a lot, if you, depending what you do, you don't meet a lot of new people, once you've gone through your wholly warm market, there's lots of other ways you can meet new people. Just get out there. Go to networking events. There's so many out there these days, like your breakfast clubs, your dinner clubs, there's evening events, which is specifically designed for people to network. There's speed networking events out there as well. Just check in your local area, Google it, just check in your local area if there's any near you, and you can go down. Some, you have to pay a nominal fee, some have breakfast and some have coffee, whichever is in your location, but the principle is you can meet people. Now, I remember attending a networking event. I like to give examples because then you see how this really works. And I was at a networking event, and there was this gentleman looking at all these names of all these people on the wall that was attending this event. I said, what are you here for? And he said, well, I'm actually looking to see if I can get better market exposure for my company. I said, well, what do you mean by market exposure? He says, well, I've got a website, but I want to know how to get it higher up the rankings. So I said, well, maybe, the universe works great here. If I could show you a way, I could get you on the front page of Google, regardless of the search, for about 75 pence a day. Would you be open about finding out more information about that? He said, yes, here's my card. When can we meet? Guess what? I showed him it. He joined the business. And that's just because I stood next to someone and created a conversation. But the conversation, I was trying to find out what he was there for. Because I make it about the other individual. It's not all about me. Because if I find out what they're there for, if I have something that can help them, if not this business, maybe a referral onto somebody else, it really does help. Also, you can join clubs. You can join a martial art club. You can do Zumba. You can take singing lessons, dance lessons, anything. But the principle is, the more people you meet, the more people you can add to your list. So literally talk to anybody all the time. Always create those contacts. Now, it's not always the right time to speak to somebody. So you might be in a position where you're out for a meal and you're not going to necessarily always going to go to pitch, because that, I personally don't do it that way. Sometimes I create the rapport and I then take it to a position where then I can get the focus and get them to see the presentation. Often you can talk to them initially to build up the rapport. You can talk about the business you're in, but I don't explain the business to people. Also, there's lots of seminars and workshops you can go to as well. I went to recently a property seminar, and I was just sat there chatting to a guy, and he said, "What are you here for?" I said, "Just if I can pick up one nugget, it'd be great." Got chatting to him. Guess what? That following week, he was in the business because we just arranged to hook up for a coffee. I took it away from the seminar, and he joined. Again, a lot of people really do see what we have as special. So we've just got to pass that word out to as many people as we can. Also, change the habits. If you shop in the same place, then you're missing out on people. Now, the thing is here is you can join people up who serve you in shops. I've done that. There was a guy I got connected with and got chatting about what we're doing over the weekend. A couple of weeks later, I went in his shop and he said, "What have you been doing?" And I was telling him about we've been to a fantastic leadership weekend. He said, "Oh, I wish I had a job that did that." I said, "Well, if you've got 8 minutes to spare, I can show you how I do it." And he said, yes, and guess what? He joined that business. I was buying a loaf of bread. A week later, he joined us. He was called Sam. This is showing you the principle of talking to people, exposing people to the special thing we have. To anybody, wherever you are. And you know what? If you've got a gardener and you offer to show him the business, if he won't even look at it, change the gardener. I went to a barber's and I offered to see if he was open to looking. He went, "Nope, not interested in looking at anything." Guess what? I didn't respect his business. I moved to a different barber's. This is the thing. Change the people, change the habits. Effectively, anyone you do business with is a potential person for you to introduce the business to. Who do you buy from? Who do you sell to? Your list, if you think about it, can be never-ending. And once you've got your list and you've got all these various leads coming into you, all we simply do is we invite them to see a Shopping Sherlock presentation. Now, I'm not going to go into detail on the tour. We've done that on the system, which you can watch that training on destinationdiamond.co.uk. But effectively, we invite all our potential prospects to either the webcast, the 3-step tour, with a live presentation, maybe a home presentation, or a face-to-face meeting. You choose how you want to do it. It's your business, but the principle is if you keep to the system, it's more likely to duplicate. I still think the webcasts and the face-to-faces and the phone ones are simply such a great system. So many people you can build very, very fast because it's so time efficient. Now, again, it's great to have a big list of people once you've wrote that initial list, but it's really important to invite them in an appropriate way. So what I think is really important is to be prepared. Now, I think it could be scripted. So all you're doing, whether you're leading with the app or biz, is getting an idea in your mind of the words you want to say. So when you first pick up that phone, it could be, "Hey, I've got something really special. I thought I'd give you a call to see if you're open to checking it out. I've got something that's going to blow you off your chair. Have you got 8 minutes for me now?" Get an idea in your mind how you wish to invite those people. Now, I personally like "if I, will you," but it's great to know alternative scenarios to these. Give you an example. Yesterday, I was inviting people to the business webcast because it was Monday yesterday. We have our business opportunity webcast on Monday night at 8 p.m. So I give people a call and say, "Hey, are you in tonight about 8 p.m.? Well, yeah, I am. Well, if I send you a link for an invitational-only webcast, will you be able to attend it and check it out? It'll last about 25 minutes. So see what I've done there? If I, will you? So that's for me saying, I'm not necessarily going to give you this. Yeah, I'll give it if you say, yes, I will. So the principle there is, if I send you a link for an invitational-only webcast, I've only got a couple of spaces allocated to me. Will you attend as my guest? And then we can chat as when it's finished. I want to get your thoughts on something really special that I'm really excited about. So again, that's linking to the webcast. But again, it's about being prepared. Now, if someone says, well, actually, I'm out this evening, well, I'm not even going to go where the webcast is because I say at the start, are you in this evening? If they say, no, I'm out. Well, actually, I've got something really exciting I want to show you. When can you be in front of the PC for sure? Well, I can be in front of the PC tomorrow about 4 p.m. Great. Well, if I call you tomorrow at 4 p.m., will you be logged on the internet to save us time? Because what I want to show you is visual. It's very, very powerful. So can you see what I've done there? My initial call was maybe to get them on the webcast. I appreciated that they couldn't attend it, and then I linked them to the Destination Diamond. That's how I'm going to introduce it to them. But I want to control it, so I'll go via the phone. So I'm booking an appointment. So for me, the purpose of every call is to schedule the next appointment. So I then give them a call that next day. Hey, it's Alan, as promised, I've agreed to call you dead on 4 o'clock. Are you logged on the internet? Something might have cropped up in their life. Well, actually, I'm not. Something's happened right now, so I've just not got the time. Well, you know what? That's fine. Well, and if they say, tell me all about it, I've got 5 minutes. Well, you know what? I want you to see it the best way for you. So when can you be in front of the computer for sure again? Again, I'm getting an alternative time. Okay, so if I call you tomorrow at 4 p.m., will you then be logged on the internet? So I'm creating a commitment the way I do this. And if I will you is so, so powerful. And you can link that same if I will you to live presentations, face-to-face presentations. Great. Well, if I can clear a bit of space in my diary, because I know you just mentioned you'd like to meet me, in person, which that's fine. If I can clear a bit of space in my diary on Thursday at 10:30, would that suit you? Would you be able to make it? Will you be able to attend at such a coffee shop? But the principle is I'm not begging people to look at this. I'm giving them an option to it. I know if they are open, great. If they're not, great. I call the next person. And that's really the best way to have it. So again, you're not emotionally attached to it. Let's say 2 a day and 10 in play. So that's where you're contacting maybe 2 a day or getting people through the presentations 2 a day and trying to build up to 10 in play. So that's people where you've got follow-ups, you've got appointments in your diary for 2 days down the line. So you've always got people you're working with, and add 2 a day onto your contact list. So there may be someone you've met today for the first time. Write them on your contact list, even if you don't know the name. The guy in the garage, the chap in the butcher's, write that down. And then you try and create a great way of making a connection, which you can then take it outside and then show them, the presentations. Now, obviously, the more you do this, the more you invite people, the better it's going to be, the smoother the invitation is going to be, because if you think about it, it's great you writing a list, but it's the invitation you do that's going to make them want to see or not the presentation. Now, a lot of the people that they'll watch it because it's you, because they love and care about you. So spend a bit of time actually building up on the skill set, so as you're speaking to colder market, then obviously that's going to be better for you. And obviously role play is great. Role play with your friends, role play with your family, role play with your upline. Your upline will do anything to help you to succeed, because that's the great thing about our business. We grow by helping everybody grow. But it's really important it's not a case of whether you can do it. What matters is if it's duplicatable. You could sit there and be able to explain the whole business to everyone, and you spend half an hour without having to press play. But if you do that, you just show them wrong, because they think they need to learn all that information before they can speak to someone. So it's really important to show the simple system. Now, you can do it an absolutely crazy way if you wish. You can shoo off at a tangent from what your team leaders are saying and go absolutely crazy. Get in a car, drive for 4 hours through rush hour traffic, get stuck in a jam, you're screaming and pulling your hair out to go and do a presentation. By the time you get there, you're shattered, you're tired, and at the end of the day, the presentation doesn't go too well. People don't get the same energy, and then you get a yes, no, or a maybe, or, I want to think about it. So you've done 4 hours, but what have you got to do then? You've got to get back in your car, drive another 4 hours through all that crazy rush hour, motorway traffic, all the roads. Again, you're pulling your hair out, and you get back in, and by the time you get back in, you're drained. You're literally thinking, what have I just done? You're feeling absolutely like a little shattered person. This is the thing that you've got to try and get away from, that crazy stuff, because really is doing it like that is the hard way. There's an easier way to do it, and that's the system that we have, where you can build to the live webcast every Monday evening. Obviously, in the UK time, it's 8 p.m. Other countries have webcasts at different times as well. People can watch these from the comfort of their home, the comfort of their laptop, and let other people do the work for you, because it enables you to save time. All you do is you get people that link, email it to them, call them, and make sure that they've got it so they can get on the webcast. It enables you to access people around the world very quick without jumping on a plane. You've got people on this webcast in Australia, which is the opposite time zone to us. The great thing is I can email contacts in Australia a link to go on a presentation, and I don't have to be sat there next to them. This is very duplicatable for prospects to do, very time efficient. The presentations are professional, the way they're done, the way they presented. Let someone else do the work for you. We update the slides, the companies update the websites, and it can show the bigger picture when they're seeing these live presentations. So webcasts and building to your team leaders' webcasts is so, so important. If people can't get on that, remember, we've got something amazing with the team site, destinationdiamond.co.uk. Take them through that simple 3-step tour. Listen to this: A, B, C, 1, 2, 3. It is easy as that. 8-minute video, give them the app and demo it, further information. Now the further information can be from webcasts and three-way calls, the websites. Again, I'm not going to go into too much detail because we've covered that on other trainings, but the principle is webcasts and the system we have online, there's no other company out there that has it, and that's what makes us so special. So let's make advantage of what we got. Let's make every single day count. It's all about the prospecting that we do, because I truly believe a day of work now is a week's holiday down the line. But while we're doing it, let's have so much fun. Let's enjoy the journey, and let's sell the dream and build a team. Simon, thank you very much tonight. And now over to you, Simon.
Thanks a lot, Alan. Now you can see, folks, why he is so successful. And it reminded me, when Alan was starting his presentation, as a lot of you know, I've been in the industry for 25 years. And I can remember going back about 20 years ago, could have been about 18, I used to listen quite frequently to a gentleman called Tom Schreiter, called Big Al. And he used to come out with this pitch. When you're presenting the opportunity to somebody, always turn around and say to them, listen, Fred, listen, John, listen, Mary, listen, Jane. What I'm going to do is I'm going to build you a team of 20 people. Now, ask yourself this one question. How many people would say no to somebody if they said, look, Fred, I would like to build you a team of 20 people? They're going to say, yeah, that's great. All I need from you is one name, one person that you know. So they give you the name. You then contact that person and you turn around and say, okay, Sue, what I'm going to do is I'm going to build you an organization of 19 people. All I need from you is one name. That's it, just one name. And that person, you turn around and say, I'm going to build you a team of 18 people, then 17 people. And when you do 3 people, you hand the baton over to somebody else. A couple of other points I just want to make here. It's like, you know, I say to people, when I sponsor brand new people, and you've got to understand a couple of things. This whole industry is about basically 2 things. Number 1, it's a mindset. Number 2, it's belief. If you've got the right mindset and the belief, then nothing, but nothing will hold you back. And we've got lots and lots and lots of people that's on this webinar. And I tell you now, I'm going through these names, and I tell you what, a lot of you folks are too frightened to go and speak to a prospect, or speak to one of your friends, or speak to one of your relatives. We're talking about, in the next few days, we're into November. Then you got December. They are the 2 biggest months of the year that our product will be used. And so many of you will be passing that opportunity up. Absolutely crazy. Absolutely suicidal. You know, one thing, when I do go to prospect people, you'll notice I'm really, really strong. It's like, no doesn't exist in my vocabulary. But you see, you've got to understand, this is the difference between me and everybody else. I prospect all the time, every day. A lot of you know Fraser, my son, and he said something to me the other day. He said, Dad, you need to get a hobby. I said, what do you mean? He said, it's business, 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 business. I said, Fraser, I live, breathe, and sleep this. That's why I do what I do. He said, yeah, I understand that, Dad, and I understand why you're so successful. But he said, you need to get a hobby. I understand that. But the point of what I'm trying to say is, yes, I am strong. Yes, I just keep building it and building it and building it. But what I like to think and what I like to say to people is, how bad do you want it? I want it absolutely massive. Now, I don't know if many of you was on our webinar on Monday, but it reminded me of the story. See, I've got to be up at about 6 o'clock tomorrow morning because I'm doing a conference call with Charles in Manila. No, I'm not. He lives in Manila. I'm doing a webinar with Charles in Taiwan and Michael Weeder, the owner in Taiwan, and he's having a launch event, and he reckons he's going to get between 200 to 400 people in attendance. But I said to him going back 2 days ago, I said, aren't you excited, Charles? Don't you realize that you're going to be making $25,000 a week? I said, have you spoken to Emily and have you like thought about that? He said, yeah, we spoke about it quite often, but we've not come up with that figure. I said, really? I said, I see you doing that. He said, no, we're talking $50,000 a week. And I thought, that's a mindset. And the benefit is Charles and Emily have got the right mindset. That's what people now. Now, if you're making diddly squat right now, right at the moment, you're thinking, well, how can I do that? You've got to make a start. If you don't make a start, it's never going to happen. You know, at the end of the day, it goes dark. But at the end of the day, if you do nothing, you'll get nothing. You have to put one foot in front of the other, and you need to go right back to basics. What the presentation Alan's just done, I think, is awesome. Absolutely awesome. And if you took notes, and if you're taking notes, you need to put some of those into action. It's like one of the things that we did going back about 5 years ago. We said, okay, you see loads and loads and loads of vans going around that are like builders or plumbers or electricians, and they've all got a mobile number or a cell phone number or whichever number you want to call it on the van. Make sure you have a dictaphone in the car and jot the number down or speak it in the dictaphone. Word a good text. Like, I'm involved in a business. I don't know if you just do your business or if you're open for a second string to your boat. Give me a text back and I can give you a website that you can have a look at to see what you think. Real simple words. And it costs you nothing. And these are people that are just driving around that's in the same sort of like space. You could be miles and miles away from home. You could be in the same village or whatever. But it makes no difference. It's a new person. Because a lot of people turn around and say, well, I don't know where to find people. I don't know how to prospect. I don't know how to get lead generations. Yes, you got companies where you can buy it. You can buy email lists. I don't think email lists is the way to go forward, because I'm a great believer that people can't read tonality. They can hear and they can listen to tonality, but they can't read it. Anyway, my time's up. Thank you for yours. What I'd like to do is I would like you, obviously, to do some homework. Give us an email on what you've enjoyed the most about this evening, but also I would like you to email us on what would you like to see and hear on future trainings. Now, we have our opinion, but you might have something that might be on your mind. Oh, I wish one week they'd talk about this, or wish they'd talk about that. Send us an email to simonbrooks1@btinternet.com. Simon Brooks, Brooks with an E, 1 as in number 1, simonbrooks1@btinternet.com. Okay, and then we'll have a look at it and see if we can put a training together. Folks, have a great week, and I'll speak to you through it. We had a record week last week, and let's make this week